welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today we have on Katie Schecter. How are you?
How's it going? I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad I could have you on. I've fallen in love with your music over COVID. I stumbled upon it, probably like iTunes or something, the weird recommend thing. And then it kind of
Cool.
kept creeping in.
I love that. That makes me happy.
It does. And then as we were talking prior to break the fourth wall, I was looking at your albums and and iTunes is kind of rough on labeling of things and
Hmm.
where things get done. And you had a couple different types of music titles on there for different styles.
Yeah.
You told me you had a good breakdown of what your style of music is. So I'm not going to say what iTunes puts on. What do you say?
I
You call
always
yourself
say I just classify myself as old soul, new sound.
perfect. That's great.
Sort
Yeah,
of
that's
broad,
perfect.
but
No, it is
okay. Yeah.
because there's like I hear there's a strong like 60s soul influence in there, definitely
Sure.
in your
For
music.
sure. Definitely.
Who are some of your go-to like music, excuse me, that you're listening to, or you always listen to, like you always.
Um, it like changed. I mean, the Beatles are my forever.
Mhm.
I like let me see. Like right now it's been a lot of like Lee Scratch Perry.
Yeah. It doesn't
Honestly,
have to make your sound either. I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk over you. It doesn't mean have to be like what makes you sound certain way, because you can be inspired, like listen to the Beatles and then write, a thrash song. It's what inspires you to create a different song. So that's what I'm asking. I'm not trying to put you in a
yeah,
corner where it's like, what are you listening to that makes you, kind of get going and write songs
yeah.
or
It changes a little bit all the time, but I will say when I like dig into something, I usually listen really obsessively.
Mhm.
And then I feel like that does inform whatever I'm working on. Over the pandemic, my husband and I were into a lot of like Lee Scratch Perry and kind of like dub vibes. And the record we just made in December definitely has like, of course I'm a white woman, but it's like I feel like that style has
Yep.
really kind of like leaked into everything in a cool way. So that's like lately where I've been at kind of mentally. I just feel like a lot of Roger Miller actually here and there.
Nice.
I always like Doris Troy and like Betty Swan and sort of like the queens of the 60s like that. That's always a big influence for me. I just love the songwriting and um yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I'm always really into T-Rex. I have like my all-time favorites and then I
Yeah.
have like things that I get
Those
like
are no,
super.
those are really good. And those are people I recommend people go out, because it's always fun to hear somebody, an artist that you like, what they listen to. And you're like, oh, I don't
Yeah,
really know that song. And then you do the
yeah,
deep dive. I always like to use the phrase deep dive on the show because I always love to do deep dives myself on something.
deep dive.
That's what you do, right? And well, and you're actually, and take a minute, say your husband is also a very talented musician himself. So
Yes, he is.
the two of you, it's
So
quite a
he
musical
loves
house.
buying records. Like he has like a record addiction, seriously. And
How many? Because I have a bunch of records too. How many?
we have yet to count, but like since the pandemic, it's become like, when you're buying more shelving to
Yep.
accommodate records and moving your house around to accommodate them, that it's like it's a great problem to have. But I do feel like, he'll get a record or a lot of records, and that ends up definitely influencing me as well. It's really cool to have someone
It's
constantly.
hard though. Like so like getting records nowadays though. The
Yeah.
newer ones, like it depends. Like I love getting old stuff. So I get like pawn shop guitars.
Yeah,
I get a lot of used records. I make sure check
definitely.
they're clean, but usually sometimes I like them a little gritty. I like to have somebody had
Yeah.
it had a life before it. Sometimes it has a weird
Mhm.
smell. You just really don't know what it is. Like in 51 years, I still don't know what that smell is, but that's okay. I'm not going to judge. But
This might be a weird smell.
sometimes you got to put like when you use records, you take some like the Clorox, not the Clorox, the dryer sheets, just kind of rip them up and you stick them in between the things, and you like let it stay there for a
Well, that's
while.
actually a really smart idea. We've never
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah, I usually like get it and I'll wipe them down with like like this the wipes you use nowadays for COVID to kind of get the gunk off them if there's any kind of like weird other people had it. Put the Clorox thing
Sure.
in, if I put it up in those plastic sheets, the holders, the sleeves, and it sits there and it just kind of after a while it absorbs it and it makes you not want
Oh,
to get sick.
that's a great
Yeah.
pro
It's pretty
tip
it's a
right
strong smell too, so you can probably just rip it in half. So you don't need like a full one. Be like or
there. Nice.
a couple
I like
pieces. Yeah.
it. I
There
like
you
that
go.
a lot.
Yeah, that one's
So
free.
great.
The first one's free.
The first one's free. After that,
Yeah, no, but no, but seriously, because like I love the used records, and that's what the problem is. Sometimes like you get the call, and I'm sure you get like, oh, I got a box of them, and then you get it, and just like a couple aren't bad, some are weird, they're in the basement. But then you
right?
find treasures. There's some music I've got. I'm like, I never knew who this was,
Treasures.
and then I'm like inspired by this thing, and that's the fun thing of records. And old records were made better, so if they are little scratches, they're thicker, better vinyl.
Yes.
You
The
know,
album artwork was just
the
so
artwork is
phenomenal,
the best.
so intentional and
Mhm.
thoughtful and beautiful. And I don't know, it's so cool to like look around and see vinyl everywhere. I just love it.
But
I'm really
but the one
happy.
really great that you can like open them up and then you can see like the band on the tour and you imagine what's going on. Like you have like all the shots and you're like, oh my God, it looks so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's like the world of what the music, like I feel like imagery now is so kind of like prevalent and therefore watered down.
Mhm.
Whereas before you had this like one chance to say something to sort of look the way you sounded.
Yeah.
And it just makes for such an impactful image, you know? And it's
Because you
just
had
like
that. That's all you had was that. Or
that's
then
all
as you
you
get older,
had.
you had like, you had the rock magazines or, but then even what was really great was punk also had their own do it themselves. They made their own magazines and they had
So
their
good.
community. You can just sleep at someone's house while the band can sleep at somebody's house while they're touring. Like how great is that? Like, so there's a lot of older school things that were so great. And now everybody
Yeah.
can do their own stuff, which is great too at home. And it does open more avenues. But then again, there's so much of it again, you can't consume it all. And it's just it's like Twitter. It's like everybody's standing on a box in a room and everyone's just yelling and nobody
Totally.
you can hear it.
Right. I think of it almost as like it sort of hurts certain things, but then at the same time, like you and I wouldn't be chatting right now
Right.
if sort of technology and things weren't as advanced as they
Right.
are. So it's sort of cool. It's both, you know, it's always both.
It's weird. And so the thing for me is I hate like I don't care if I'm tracked and all these apps. I don't really care. I'm like, you really think my life's that great? Go for it. But what I don't like is when things are recommended to me because it
Yeah.
takes to me, the journey of finding something, finding that great movie or that great
Definitely.
song. And like, so like you popped as a recommendation, like now, like if you like this, you know, what I mean, saying your name came in like a list of other people, and then I'll check everybody out. But that's okay. You kind of, because it kind of falls in that weird window,
Yeah,
but it's fun to find something.
I agree. I was just like writing like a mind jog the other day, and I was writing that I missed my old friends, mystery and coincidence. Like these are just old friends now, you know, that you haven't seen in a while.
Pretty good, actually. I like that.
Thanks.
Mystery. Sounds like the
Mhm.
a good song. Good song you work on.
Maybe that's a title for
That is
something.
totally a title. That's yours. We have proven right here. It was yours first.
Okay, okay, coin it right
We have it. This
here.
is right here. It's coined. That's it.
Okay, that was your second pro tip, by the way, and
Pro
you
tip.
better
Yep.
not charge me
That's right.
for
No, you get them all for free. It's a good night for me. Um,
that.
I told lost my train of thought now. You did so it's funny. There's some stuff on you, but there's just a lot of stuff on you out there, which kind of like leaves your own a little mystery about you. You know, got some great videos, got a couple albums
Thanks.
out. And on YouTube, it's funny. There's actually found some older videos of you, like from like I don't know if the dates right, 2013.
Yeah,
There's like
yeah.
those are fun.
I've
It's
been
you
at
know,
it for a while. I've been hustling for years.
well, so your first album was it like I don't know, 2017, 16, 17? It was like your first
Yeah,
one.
my first, well, I put out a record when I was living in New York still called Feline back in 2014. And it was actually like really like I was like really obsessed with kind of country and like cosmic American music. And then ended up moving with my then boyfriend, now husband, to Nashville. And then we ended up putting out an EP in 2017. That then sort of like left the country sphere entirely. Oddly enough, I kind of like flipped, but yeah.
You
So
go to
20,
Nashville and not do country. Good way to
yeah,
go.
I don't know what it was. It's like I learned a lot about country music, but then I think maybe I realized I don't know. I just
Like going
moved
to a
into
buffet
it.
and be like, nah, I'm gonna have a salad. You realize you're at a buffet.
Yeah, I was like, no barbecue, thank
Yeah,
you. I'm gonna have
we're gonna go the opposite way here. That's actually kind
goat
of
cheese
cool.
salad.
Well, and the other thing is you could have gone, and it's almost like everyone's doing this now, is the Americana feeling like it's
Right, right.
the undercurrent that's almost it's becoming bigger now. Like it's becoming a thing to the point where you know it's going to
Definitely.
happen in a couple of years. It's going to be like, oh, Americana. We like a phase
I feel
where
like it's one of those really generalized, again, it's almost like, what does that even mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
I would
Like,
say popular Americana, I would say would be like a Tom Petty. For
okay,
for
that's
for for like
great
a buckshot
Americana.
at a barn door where people,
Tom Petty's great Americana.
it's great Americana, but that was
Right.
kind of like the top of the pop commercial end of it, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
That everybody could relate to, like, because you have a weird audience of different types of music. Maybe it could be weird people too, I don't know.
Right.
But but that's what I'm saying. And from that, it could be just anybody that just picks up a guitar and strums and kind of doesn't have a, you can kind of have a pop sensibility, but you can have a country, and it's like, like old country. Remember, like Western, with your Johnny
Yeah.
Cash, Waylon
Yes,
Jennings
yes.
and stuff. It wasn't always like Garth Brooks country. It was like Waylon Jennings, and the old country was
Sure.
kind of Americana to me.
Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying.
And that's just
Like, I
my
guess
opinion.
terms sort of morph and change and grow or become more generalized as you go, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been called Americana
really.
before, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know, other than being American, I don't know. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I'm just like, I don't know what that really means, but cool.
Because your guitar sound and your voice, because besides the 60s sound with your guitar sound, it's almost like a
Yeah,
psychedelic indie with like a top
I
40
would
pop
say
sound.
so. I would say it's more like indie. Yeah, sure.
Like in a good way. Like it's not like indie pop was, like it used to be. It's just, it has its own thing. Like it stands out on its own. It's independent. Is what it is. And it's got a good pop song. They're very good pop songs.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
I love
welcome.
I love pop writing. Like, I love, like, really.
And they're kind of haunting too. They're kind of a slow burn type of thing, which is
I
nice.
can't wait for you to hear this new record we made. I'm
I'm looking
so
forward to it.
excited about it. I feel like it's next level to what anything I've ever done.
Well, when you have it ready, we'll have you come back on and we'll do a record deep dive
Yeah,
breakdown. Let me know.
that would
It's
be
awesome.
awesome.
Your newest one now, well, it wasn't your newest news, but it's for Bad for
Yeah,
Business.
the most recent Bad for Business. Yes.
You've had a couple of videos for that, which are fun videos.
Thank you.
But cool,
I
good.
made that record with some amazing, amazing musicians who are some
Mhm.
of my favorite people on the planet. My husband being one of them. But on the drums is Homer Steinweiss,
Mhm.
and bass is Nick Movshin. Um, and those guys are like just total legends. We worked with Ben Bapty, who produced it, and it was just like such a fun experience recording with those guys and like hearing it. A lot of the tracking was just live and like just like showing them a song and then having them turn around and sort of do their thing, and it's like, oh, okay, that's it, that's great. Like,
Well, you can tell you enjoy it. You're not burnt or jaded by it, because even in I think in your Facebook post, you put one like you're like best week of my life. You're recording like it's very genuine. It's very, if you can feel, you kind of like feed off of the good vibes of it's
they're like,
earnest.
they're the best, they're the best. I mean, I
And
don't know, it's just
but
hard to not have
it's a good album. Though. It's a solid album.
Thanks. Thanks.
Well, people check it out and
Thanks.
get some funny videos. I like
Yeah, sure.
the good videos, so people check them out too. I don't even want to ruin them. They're really good. And then you did like an at home performance.
Yes.
Talk about that a
Thanks.
little bit, because that's kind of cool actually, because the way it was shot too.
Thanks. It's my friend Jordan Sirik who shot it. Nick helped, my husband helped us do the sound, and I don't know, it was just like really fun to kind of just play the songs sort of the way they were written, which is just sort of me and my instrument. And I think it sounds different, obviously, than the record. So it's just like a fun way to kind of put those songs out in a new light. And I don't know, our little house is kind of vibey, and you
It
know,
is good. It shows, like, to be a singer and be a songwriter, if you can just do it without any effects and just sing it, it still sounds really good.
thank you.
It shows a lot. But
Thanks.
now I'm going to say one thing: you could have a baby, and that is your house. And I saw that fireplace.
So what do we do with the
You
fireplace?
have to you have to block that off, because once they start walking around and crawling and stuff, you don't want
Okay,
your baby in
okay.
there, be all dirty and touching
No,
stuff.
you're right. That would be a really sooty baby.
Being a dad, the first thing I saw, I know you have a baby, I was like, oh, that's the first thing you're gonna
They
have to
gotta
get like a
block that
dog, like get a
fireplace.
dog gate or some kind of, like, you guys have blocked it off. I swear to God, that's like that, and anything with
Listen,
corners. I'm telling you.
Pro tip number 3,
Yep.
I'm gonna start having to pay
Right.
you, but I will listen
Right.
to that for sure.
Yeah, I remember the first thing we got rid of on a side note would be we had these really cool glass tables. Before we had
Ooh, I've got a cool glass
any
table.
corners on. Oh yeah, it was like nope. We were like, well, I was like, nope, out of here. Pew, gone. Yeah,
Now,
everything's
is this
corners now.
girls and boys? Like,
Hmm?
is like our girls as
They're just babies. They're just
it's just
crawling and
baby
falling all the
across the
time.
board.
They're always
Okay,
banging
okay.
themselves.
But
You
it's
can be
not like
stressed.
sharp. There's not a lot of sharp things, but there
You say
are
that
a
because
lot of.
you're not thinking because you're not thinking yet of having the kids. Once you have a kid, you realize everything they touch, they get hurt themselves. Everything looks like a weapon.
Okay. There's also some like good acoustic guitars that like if
Hang them.
she were to knock into, that would be problematic. All right, we're gonna have to do some
You're good until they
rearranging.
start, right now when you first get them, they're like little talking sausages and you can just kind of move them around and, kind of feed them and
Right,
stuff. But once they
right.
start crawling a little bit, you're like, oh, it's cute. I love it. They're walking. Once they start running, you're like, get up, protect your stuff. Everything's
Take
hit.
your okay.
I hang up everything. I have a grandson. Everything's hung up.
Oh, there you go. Oh, this is smart.
See?
Okay. All right. Noted. Noted.
Just saying. You want to have a
Noted.
working, practical musical house that nothing is broken, but also you don't have your kid breaking your stuff, because then you'll have to put your kid up at a pawn shop if they break up good guitars, because that's just not cool.
We have this weird fantasy that she's just going to be this like totally sophisticated, not going to break, and going to understand and respect the instruments. And I know that's bonkers.
It happened.
But we're
It
both
happened.
like, oh no, she won't be like that.
She could be pretty good. I mean, but I'm saying it's just
We'll see. We'll
get one
see.
guitar
She'll be a
fall and
little.
break. You're like, oh man,
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
and they're gonna see you, and you can see you play all the time, so they're gonna want to even do it even more to give you a natural thing. And one of the things I
Oh,
did
that's
was,
cool.
yeah, that's cool. I got my kid,
I like that.
my grandson, his own ukulele, same color as my guitar, so he has his own little version of his
I
own.
love that.
Or I let him play my
We
guitar if I
hope
held
to
him.
be
And I kept
done.
his, yep. I'd hold the
We would
strings.
like her to.
Yep.
Oh, so you hold. So you press the.
Or you're right, and I also hold so
Right.
his fingers caught. It doesn't snap anything on him because they have little strong hands. They'll snap it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
you
but
also,
that's so great. I mean, that's cool if they're. I grew up around music. I don't know about you.
yeah, oh yeah,
So it's just like to me, it was always like I want to be in on that, like you're saying.
totally. I
So
mean, we
that's
have a
really
big thing of toys. We just pull out, a big box of just as like every kind of shaky percussion and little miniature keyboards
yeah,
and stuff. So,
Baraka,
so you gotta get all that kind of stuff. Those are the fun.
I love that.
You'll do it.
Yeah.
So would you say May? And you have an album. How are you gonna find the balance of having an album? Look at that, huh? And first, you want to say first pregnant person on here?
Yeah, I just I want to
You
just
get
make
first,
that note. I've watched a lot of your interviews now, and I'm the first. I'm the
that's
first.
great.
We're the first.
You are.
Yeah, so we made a record in December. I had been writing a lot over the pandemic. My husband Nick has a studio in the basement, and we were just like recording tons of demos. He was like experimenting with gear, and we've got some really fun stuff down there. So after I got pregnant, I was like, okay, I need to get this. Like, we went back up to New York and recorded with the same guys, Homer Steinmetz and Nick Movshin, and this guy Jens engineered it, Jens Youngkirth, and he's incredible. And we did the whole album, like pretty much tracked everything in like 5 days, like all the tape, and it was really exciting and really cool.
Wow.
And at this point, I don't know if you can hear, I'm like starting to lose my breath. So it was like really smart that we did it when we did, because I was still able to like sing and get good vocals.
Well, that'll be a
But we're
challenge.
still like tracking and stuff and like overdubbing in the basement, and it's been really cool and kind of.
Well, good that it's probably a smart move, and because after you have the baby, you'll be a little tired, and you gotta get used to
Yeah,
back to
I
the
think
schedule.
so. And I think it'll just kind of be all about that for a minute, which I'm a little nervous about and also really excited for. Like, I'm just gonna have to switch gears, but I think it's cool that I'll have at least like the songs I've been writing the past like year or two are at least like down. Like we've got those. And
Well,
hopefully I'll get
it's a
inspired
musical
more.
house though too, so your husband understands, so you can trade off, and with the kid, he understands that. Well, you have to,
Yeah,
you understand, there's muse that you have to do it and how to do it, and it's a family thing,
right.
and your child become a part of that process, whether it's playing or
Right.
touring. It just becomes
Yeah.
it's better than like having one person at home and then one person not. It's a really weird dynamic. It's you guys
Right.
share that same thing.
It is cool because I feel like also, I mean, now in retrospect, I'm like, we should have done this like a year ago because everyone was like really home. But like his tour schedule with Cage the Elephant normally is a lot more fast paced than it is currently. So it's
Yeah.
kind of good timing. Like when he's home a lot,
Hmm.
other than like doing sessions and things. So we're just gonna get through it. They do have some plans for this summer, but um that's a good thing. And yeah, we'll get back to releasing the music somehow, some way. At least it's
It's
all
good.
done.
Well,
And I
that's the
get to
whole
enjoy
thing.
it. I can't wait to play it for you.
I'm really looking forward to it. It'd be fun. I'm excited. I've been listening to the other stuff now.
Thank
So
you.
it is kind of cool having a COVID baby because it is, if there's a time to kind of knock it out. I mean, if you're kind of being practical about having a baby, it is a good
Yeah,
time being a musician
yeah.
and being, during a baby.
Everything's pretty slowed down compared to how it was. I mean, I do though feel
And it's a
like I
new
have a lot
world,
of
you know.
it is for sure. And things are so honestly, things are so tragic right now. I've
Mhm.
been just having a hard time kind of like focusing on anything but like the fact is that the world is a really strange, sad place right now, and I'm trying to keep my head above that, but it's kind of hard to focus on anything else.
It could be, and it is, there's some real bad stuff going on,
It's a
but it,
mess.
but if you look back, there's been a lot of other times when there's been huge wars, huge
True.
tragedies, and huge,
True.
huge atrocities. The world has always done this. In fact, the problem is the world hasn't learned from it. I'm a
Right.
history buff, and this is really just a pattern of an abusive relationship with the planet Earth is what we're having.
Right. It's
It's insane.
cyclical, I guess. Like there's always something.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I actually feel I was talking to someone about this. I was like, I do kind of feel lucky that I'm not like necessarily promoting anything right at this moment because it
Mhm.
feels sort of, and like you said, there's always something bad
Right.
going on, like at any given point. But I just,
I mean, these
the
couple of years
situation.
have been really hairy. These couple of years have been a little hairier than others in the past. It's not the
Yeah, I
80s.
mean, honestly, the past few years, even putting out a record in 2020 felt like weird. I just
Mhm.
wanted to sort of give people who give a shit about me something to listen to. And at the same time, promoting stuff felt really weird and felt sort of secondary to all the serious stuff going on. And then, like, of course, right now, I was thinking, like, just if I had like something coming out, I feel like it just feels really strange to kind of be like,
No, 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 no.
I don't
I don't
know. I
disagree
mean,
with
maybe
you
it
on that
brings
one
people
because
joy, but
maybe because you're the one putting it out there, but as somebody as a fan who listens to it, you know, that's something like, I know somebody who has some new music out and they had like just something really nice, like 100 hits in one day, and Ukraine was listening to it right when they're during this war, like so, like, and to him, he's a great guy. The gift of having knowing that people are going through something and listening to that, helping them,
that's kind of
and sometimes
amazing.
right, and it doesn't have to be for any artist that inspires you. It could be something that just makes me not think about it. Like I have stuff bother me, I'll listen to
Right.
you and I'll think of something different, or I'll listen to another artist and listen to something different. Like it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be the same connection. It just takes you out of that moment, and in
I
a
mean,
way, it's
that's what I feel about music.
right,
Like
and that's what your
yeah.
fans would. I mean, so it's a gift on
Right.
both hands. It's a gift that you receive because it feels good to do something good and share it, and then the
Yeah.
fans, that's kind of where the connection is, and it's a little more cerebral than just that. And I think sometimes it's even more important.
Okay, that's good to hear, honestly. I guess like maybe that's more just like sort of seeing like when you look at like social media, which is how you and I connected, for example, it's
Right.
like, you're scrolling and it's like someone promoting something they have coming out, and then the next shot is like, a screen grab of the war in
Right.
Ukraine. It just feels really like, I don't know, I can't explain. You're probably right. I mean, maybe it's good to just keep moving and keep doing
It is. I
what you
mean,
do.
and you're authentic, and I think, and that's kind of people I talk to musicians because I like that. And did you remember what was that movie? Russell Brand did. Remember it was Get Him to the Greek. Go to the Greek.
Oh, I actually really think that's a funny movie.
I
I
agree with
really,
you. That's something.
that's
So
what,
it's hilarious, right? There's some funny lines I'm not even gonna say. Keep the show PG. But the video he did that he got in trouble for when he was like singing
yeah,
about like poverty or whatever and whatever.
right.
That's him making fun of people being so the opposite end of self-indulgent, where you don't need that kind of music.
Yes, I see
That's
what you're
kind of like
saying.
that's the kind
Who
of
was
people out
tweeting
there.
me talking about that too? Yes. Okay, I understand what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need
There's a
people talking about stuff they don't know. Like, you don't know what's going on to a certain thing. You just do your thing, and you talk about what
yeah.
you know, and put it out there, and just be
Music
authentic.
is therapeutic too. I mean, honestly, there are days where I just feel so blue, like looking at everything in the
Mhm.
world, and put on a really good record, and that'll make you feel a lot better.
And there's gonna be days when you have to hear kids bop, and you're gonna miss a good record.
Yeah.
And you say I'm like I'll never listen to certain kids' music, and I'll tell you what, you get some days your kids, you're like, I'm gonna put it on because I need a break. Just gonna say
Right.
your
No, I
yourself
know.
will go. You'll
My
break you.
friend's kid was playing me a song the other day that was quite literally called like poo poo pee pee. And it was like to techno. It sounded like Aqua from the 90s, like with
Yeah,
like just the words poo poo pee pee. And I was like, I don't know. I mean,
that's pretty funny.
sure.
I don't think I've heard that before.
Whatever,
Like,
man.
but then I was the person who was my kids know the words, and they're 5 or 6, and they knew the words like Frank Zappa songs and Billy Was a Mountain. I kept them PG on those. It was hard on a couple of the songs, but they knew all of Billy Was a Mountain by the time they were, in elementary school. So
I hope we can at least like make sure she is at least aware of the cool stuff.
yeah, if you just play it a lot, if that's the influence,
Yeah.
that's gonna
I
be.
also think there's certain music that maybe like children react like the Beatles, for example, is like a really like I loved them growing up, and
I do
they're just
too.
there's something really playful about it
Mhm.
and catchy. And so like as a child's mind, I was like, oh, this is great. I don't know.
The Beatles and Elvis were like my first, and I still have Beatles Legos
Yeah,
and stuff around. And excuse me, still a huge Beatles fan. It's never gone.
same.
So that's an easy one to play for kids.
Did you watch
But
the Get Back documentary?
I felt like it healed a lot of things with me, a lot of issues that were sticking out. Because I've read a lot of books too. You
It
know,
was so good. I just wanted to like dive through the screen.
I love the jokes. I like the fact that they actually showed with that Yoko was singing and
Yeah,
Paul was playing drums with it. And he had no problem with it. They also,
right.
I think they get credit for the first noise rock band, like
Totally.
pre-Sonic Youth. I mean, they really were the first noise rock band too.
Yeah, I mean, they were just the first everything as
Everything.
far as I'm concerned.
You see him write a song right in the spot, and the whole
Oh my
thing.
gosh.
And
Like
I like the
so
fact that they
amazing.
were all their last time together. They were still joking. They finally got to that point with the band where they were all in a good spot. Because you heard so many
Right.
different things growing up that it wasn't like that.
Totally. And Yoko's the shit too. And like you got the sense that like John really didn't want her going anywhere else. I mean, it's not like she was the one. I just there's so many like myths
Right.
about
Yeah, definitely there was
all of
a certain codependency there. And
that. Hmm.
the other
But
thing
it
is
was
like,
mutual, maybe, like
oh, it totally
obviously.
was. It totally was because in the history, like she broke up with him one point and sent him off with somebody else, and then they got back together again. So
Right.
what was funny is what's it she's singing, and then when she was reading the paper and everyone's like, no, the Beatles are playing a song, and it doesn't matter who you are, they're writing a song for you. How can you read the paper in front of the Beatles? It's still the Beatles.
Right. 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 I don't know. Maybe if you hang out with them like every day, maybe it
I don't
starts
know.
to not be as.
Really, do you think
I don't know. I don't feel that way, but I've never hung out with them once, so I don't know.
you hang out with a good band, you're like, I'm just gonna listen to everything, I'm not gonna read it.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
I mean, you're right. You're right. I
I
don't
mean, yeah,
know.
Paul McCartney's like he's
Those
writing
were
a song
long
right in front
days
of
in
you.
the studio, though. Those are some long days.
I guess
You're like, I
or,
guess.
George Harrison was gonna leave, and they're like, oh, we'll just get Eric Clapton. What a great dig. It was busting the Stones. It was pretty funny.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
it is good.
I
I'm
just
surprised.
want to dress like George Harrison now from now on.
He is great. He is great. Actually, I made a Lego picture of him. I had the Legos. You can make 4 different pictures of them from the same set. So the first one I made, I got all these other sets now. My wife got it for me. I made the George Harrison one because he's
Cool.
like, yeah, because he's got was the coolest one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He's so cool.
It is.
They're all so cool.
You have got an exciting couple of years ahead of you.
Oh, I
Are you gonna
think
wait? How are you gonna wait for you to release your album now? Are you gonna stage it after the birth
that's a good
before?
question. We're still sort of overdubbing and getting things all wrapped up in terms of the music.
Because touring and playing is weird now anyhow. Like some bands are
It
like,
is.
I put it out because if I hold it, the fans don't get to listen to it. And maybe the fans really, this is the time to listen to it. Then some artists
Right.
are, I want to save it to tour with it. And there's no wrong answer because
No.
it's your music.
Yeah. I haven't like shot the cover or anything. That'd be kind of hard to do now unless I want to look super pregnant on my cover, which could be cool.
It could be really cool.
But could be really cool.
You could take a bunch of different shots before and after and just put them all up there in a collage and not say
Oh,
anything and
that's a
confuse people.
cool idea.
Just confuse people.
I like that. Okay, that's pro tip number 4.
That's right. Right. A lot of ideas for you, right?
In my back pocket. I don't know how I'm gonna release it yet. I'm currently unsigned. I think it'd be really cool to maybe put it out on a label if a label wanted to have me, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if anyone wants to help the cause and see if there's a way to get some touring behind it, and I'll just bring the baby along and, I don't know.
Give her a tambourine and let's just do this, right? It's gonna be a family thing.
A
4 family affair, like the song.
I mean, it's never too early.
It isn't. I want to wish you luck on this birth. It's going to be awesome. You'll be good.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy that she and I got to be on the podcast together.
I know, right? Do you have a name for her?
We have a secret name. Okay. I think it's really cool, but we haven't told anyone yet.
That's even better. Just.
I think you'll do.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll.
Okay. Very cool. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show, and we'll have you back again when you do your album too. I want to promote it. We'll keep doing it. Okay.
Thanks. Have a great night.
You too.